Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PCS here for someone. My name's Cyrix. I'm joined by Mr. Clement Chu, sponsored by CDBC Bank. Not Clement, not yet, just the PCS. Remember, Riot Games, Carrie Levco, and Garena are responsible for organizing the league operation and the full production here. Now, Clement, we're getting into our penultimate game here tonight. Only 4 as J-Team are unable to play against Meta Falcon team with their game against PSG also being cancelled tomorrow. At the very least, Mr. Chu, DCG are back on the Rift, and Sem9 are still looking for their second win after breaking their long curse earlier in the split.
And I do want to say this match is when theory meets reality, because theoretically, actually we have Sem9 as the better team compared to Deep Cross Gaming. Sem9 beat Dewish Team, and Dewish Team beat DCG, which then beat PCG. So you actually have kind of the circle of life, but not in a positive way going on here.
Circle of life.
We'll see if Sem9 can actually stand up to the theory and show that they're actually the better team in this one.
I mean, it's not the Lion King, but I love how you bring it all together. Perfectly said. Sem9 are obviously the better team. You're exactly right. Forget the fact that DCG are 9-3 in playoffs, 3-win streak, beat PSG, beat J-Team. This is the team. And look, Clement, what we know about Sem9 is that we've had their coach in who's made so many different changes. Like him and Caspiel have been changing between AD support. He's even played mid. Shiadudu is beaten playing AD in parts as well. Like, this is a fun team to watch, especially in drafts. However, rough their split has been for them yet again.
It's sort of to be expected. I think their strengths are just how fun their compositions are. They've been going for a lot of a run-at-you composition. Last time we saw the Wukong plus Vladimir combination coming in. So when you think about rundown comps, I think you have to fit Sivir right in. That's going to be a fun champion to see them pilot. And also the top lane meta, with the shift in priorities here, I feel like No Name has a very unique champion pool to go up against Leaky. We have to remember that Darius, and no one has let through the ban phase so far.
True. 58% banned, the most banned pick against Sem9. So the respect there, and especially when Leaky picks up our Week 4 number MVP. We know that for DCG, they've been setting him up for success, and Clement, we'll talk about the Mordekaiser before. He's also got unique picks up there himself, but Leaky has been a more meta player than Sem9, who's already picked out Tryndamere, the Nasus, the Vladimir as well. Even the Kale has popped in for a visit.
And we have to say that Deep Cross Gaming has a very similar sort of strategy to Sem9. They like to play rundown comps as well. We see this mainly coming out of Nesty with his champion pool of Seraphine, with the Talia, and also with the Swain. So I expect a lot of brawls to be happening across the map, and we are going to be taking a look at the top lane. Now, it might look normal for No Name right here, but if you dig a little bit deeper, it's anything but meta. He's played, as you said, the Nasus. Darius is apparently he's a solo queue beast on the champion, and he's also gone for, I believe, the Kale, the Tryndamere, and the Vladimir. So this is definitely my highlight matchup as well, just for the surprise factor.
Well, attaboy, Clement. Remember that Sem9 are the better team. You said it yourself.
Yep.
So maybe No Name's prioritized. 6 solo kills as well for a losing team is also pretty impressive. And let's be real, when we know that Sem9 have struggled in both spring and summer, right now we're just looking for a bit of the momentum off the back that Dewish Team took or rather Sem9 got their first win against Dewish Team, I should say. They just took a loss against Impunity. If Sem9 are able to beat DCG in this upset, as it were to be, then they would equalize, have a chance of catching up to teams like Impunity and Meta Falcon team, and maybe, just maybe, we could see Impunity get knocked down by Sem9, and Sem9 get in their first playoffs. You like the dream, Clement? I think it's very worthy.
You gotta have the V5 dream alive, you know? It's the 0-16 until first place next split. So we'll see if that works out for them. A big champion I would like to see prioritized here is the Silas. I feel like Shiadudu, because he's coming over from AD carry, has very, very few champions in this pool. And Silas is a great champion for Nesty as well, talking about that bruiser kind of style. So I think Silas is either going to be first pick or banned coming in into the next two ban picks here.
But remember again, I mean, for DCG, Opportunity to ban away that Darius 2 we talked about. Could be in the second phase that they look towards that top laner, but yeah, there's a couple of things that for first pick for Sem9 sit really high in priority in the meta. I like you brought out Silas as a Kindred ban against Arashi instead, which is fun. But for Sem9, a lot of options. Zeri first pick, okay. They are going to run him with a champion that they have never picked because most of the time it's been banned, Clement, but other than that, they are a stranger team when it comes to these bottom lanes.
I gotta say, No Name seems incredibly happy that they actually, you know, they were able to ban Sivir themselves and still get the Zeri on the first pick. Kindred has been a pick that Arashi has gone for a couple of times, but so far I'm just not convinced that it's been a particularly strong champion coming in for him. Again, Kindred can be a very counter jungle or scuttle heavy champion, and Sem9 don't really have the lanes to support that. So I feel like DCG, you know, they kind of whiffed a ban here. Sem9 did not pick up on the Silas, and DCG still end up getting everything they want.
Gnar as well, you know, such a strong blind, and Silas on the same team as it is going to be huge. For Sem9 though, we're looking like we're going back to spring patch, right, or at least a couple of weeks ago on 12-11, where we get the Wukong, we get the Zeri, 2 strong picks back then. Shin has played the Scion before. This has not gone to the top side, but maybe something a little bit more standard with a strong 2v2 and probably the most standard looking draft, I should say, that's come out of Sem9 so far.
Nesty looks like he's completely bored with the drafting so far.
What is this?
Oh my god, is this the previous patch? What's happening right here? I don't want to play this.
Okay.
You will still go on to the Silas, and DCG, I think they're setting up for very strong late game composition. It's kind of a front to back comp being set up here. While Sem9, I would say, have more pick potential across the map. You have that invisibility final chapter coming out, a combination that we love, and also the Zeri chase down over the wall. It's incredibly powerful in those Herald fights. But so far, I would give the late game edge to DCG, just judging from the champions we have so far.
I mean, the setup, the Jinx range, we often talk about her range in the late game quite insane. As we want to see what utilizes the front line, because Clement, DCG have not banned Darius. We've got Gwen, Sejuani off the board, giving this Gnar, I guess, a safer time within the lane, but I'm still curious if No Name wants to take this matchup, because you were telling me a bit before, Gnar can outplay the matchup, and maybe for No Name, it would be a big ask for him to pull out the champion that he's never really gotten his hands on yet.
Yeah, I will say Darius is not a good matchup into Gnar whatsoever. So that's why they're leaving it open. But this is why I'm excited about it, because I knew that Gnar was likely going to get selected here by DCG. But with a player like No Name, you don't know what his counter pick is. You really don't have a good clue of what his champion matchup table is going to look like. You know, he's played the Tryndamere into this as well, so you could see that one coming out. And I think it actually works quite well with a kind of a rundown team with the with the Yumi.
Yeah, with things like Vladimir available as well. Worth mentioning as we look at a Scion once again, really. Are we really going to see it this time up in the top side? Because remember that Ashin
it could go support.
Be the Zeri. Yeah, it could. But Clement, we have a Yumi already. So.
Oh, you're right.
So, I mean, but then again, it could also go to a different player. Because remember, even though they're in these roles, they have often swapped up on the rip. Like, it doesn't matter with a Sem9 draft. It could go to Ashin still, and he might be playing mid, might be playing something else. Are we going to get a Vayne solo lane? Are we really? No Name? Is this going to be top?
Come on.
Oh my god, Vayne. Is this the shot?
Oh, this is a great matchup coming in. I think it's going to be solo Vayne topside, and early on, Vayne can actually punish the Gnar quite hard. Like, you have the extra, Vayne starts at 550 auto attack range, and Gnar starts significantly shorter, so he can only try to get trades with the boomerang, but then you have the Vayne that can just tumble out of the boomerang. Very easy to execute, super strong lane into the top side. I personally hate playing this matchup on the Gnar side myself, so this could get real spicy here.
Well, at the very least, we'll look at where we stand. Let's just pause and wait, because I want to know where everything goes. Remember that Ashin is the one who played the Scion. That's why I'm concerned, Clement. He does have TP, and we have Ghost Flash for the Zeri, but they're smiling, and Vayne mid, but is it going to be mid? Clement, you're up. Good luck with this.
I think Vayne's solo lane makes a lot more sense. Vayne bottom, is very easy to gank and has no wave push potential. So solo lane for me is probably most likely. We have seen it. I will say we have seen it mid lane, but it's usually against something like Galio. I'm not sure it has the same efficacy against something like the Silas that can gap pose against you so easily. So
it can be a pain though. I mean, playing through the minion wave well. I mean, we can talk about it as we see the lanes set up, right? Because we need to know where everyone's going. Is it really going to be a Zeri top? Sem9 decided to throw a spanner into the works once again. A lot of fun Yuumi targets, I'll say, Clement. But I think I'll sit with you when I say, you know, are we scaling with DCG? Maybe I shouldn't just make a judgment. If Sem9 get through an even laning phase, there's still a lot of good scaling. And you have a Sion front line. So what do you think?
I'm not sure what I think, but it's going to be fun either way. Okay, there's a couple of big problems I see with this comp. Number one is their bot lane. It's not easy to farm and survive in this bot lane. This is a purely defensive bottom lane setup with the Sion and the Yuumi. And I think it could be possible that they actually... Could they possibly be swapping this?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Maybe a Shin's going elsewhere. But for now, he is still down towards the bottom side with Caspiel obviously hovering here as a Yuumi. No Name is set up for top lane and trying to throw a spanner in so you get your second win. I mean, respect to Sem9. Share Dudu is sitting mid. So Clement, it is the player role. We are going to get a Zeri top. And now we just have to kind of talk about the lane matchup. You've already talked about mid. I mean, you were just mentioning bot. As you said, that is going to be hard to get through.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing you can do to really trade back in this situation. It's pretty much wait until level 6 and join team fights. So, essentially what this means is Sem9 actually need to find some really, really strong wins in their solo lanes or get a big win in their mid-game team fight. If neither of those happens, they're just decidedly behind. It's a high-risk, high-reward type of composition.
You've got double lethal tempo here for the solo lanes too, as well as Woody's going to set up for a dredge line, but a Shin moving up, well, you can just auto as the Nautilus and you start a W and let the poke begin. It's up to Caspiel to get the healing in as we look at these solo lanes. As you said, getting a big win. We can talk a little bit about the Zeri top lane, Clement, because we knew either way it was going to be either the Vayne up here or we thought it was Sion, but I guess with this AD, similarities, as you would say?
Yeah, my biggest question is what type of build is the top lane Zeri going to go into? Because, you know, we have seen Zeri been able to play multiple positions in the past, but that was mainly with the Triforce and Titanic Hydra sort of build. Much more bruisery type of build. I'm not sure you can go for the same crit build in the top lane because you're so burstable by the enemy team here. So I do expect Nona to actually go for, I think the Triforce build might be in the works here coming in for it.
Okay, well, Triforce up for No Name. Means that we're already starting with Longsword as well, so might just give it away. Level 3 hit first by Leaky and already pressuring him a bit off the wave. And for DCG, let's kind of talk about what can go right for them, because when you said laning has to go well for Sem9, well, Woody's already roaming and he wants to hit this mid lane. I mean, Share Dudu, look at where the wave is, Clement.
Yeah, that's another problem with a purely defensive bot lane. That the enemy support can be wherever they want. They can start taking away scuttles, and if you look at this pathing right here, it does look like Hana has his choice of double scuttle if he so chooses to get it down there. And Shedudu can't even walk up. This is why I was a little bit surprised. I feel like Vayne is a lot safer into the top side of the map. You know, you have to respect the fact that she can just chase you down. So you have to be very careful about managing lane states. Not so much in the mid lane. Mid lane, Vayne is, I think, a much weaker champion in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you know, you get small burst trades, and the Share Dudu going up against this Silas, we have to remember what ult he has available as well to punish this Vayne. Look towards the top side. No Name's running in under turret. Leaky stays for quite a while. Gets that auto off as well. He's about to go into the Mega Gnar. I was talking a little bit, Clement, about what this Vayne can do, but maybe it's just not important because as Arashi's on his own camps, he's going to get spotted out. I just feel like DCG want to pull the trigger so bad with the CC they have and how volatile the lanes are.
Yeah, for sure. This is such a strong crowd control team coming in from DCG. If they start the fight out first, I think they're just going to finish the fight in their terms. For Sem9, I'm already looking past the laning phase, to be absolutely honest. I don't think you're looking at this and going like, double AD carry has done its job. They need a big fight on Herald. They need an absolute white to happen at Herald. And if DCG decide to just trade or stay in lane, I'm not sure how Sem9 actually comes back from this situation.
True. Well, as No Name gets straight up in the top side, I want to mention that it's already starting off in a negative effect. Mid with the CS lead, top with the CS lead. Bot is going even, surprisingly enough, for a Shin. Absorbing a lot of that damage with the Yuumi on top of him too. So, not the worst case scenario, but DCG getting objective control with all 3 lanes. Pushing practically at this point. Even spotted out by a ward, but there's no way Arashi's going to that side of the map, so Dragon stacking begins for Deep Cross Gaming.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to do this consistently throughout the entire game. The bot lane is just not going to work out. So I think the trigger here is for Sem9 to roam the Scion earlier on, find a big pick, and then snowball it into a Herald. That's the play that we're most likely looking for here. And, you know, if some of these lanes from DCG push too far, that could happen. We do have the TP coming in from the Scion. And, you know, once he hits level 6, he can just leave lane with the Unstoppable Onslaught as well. He doesn't even really need the TP. He can come in with an Ignite to get the ball rolling.
We talked a lot about our Sem9, you know, comps that want to just go forward. The Zion's been picked up a couple of times as well, but not quite like this for a Shin. And again, I gave him credit for surviving the lane so far, for the fact that he's even in CS, but you look at the rest of the map, it's still burning, and as Hana seems to be in a great position to get this scuttle and then start adding pressure on mid. Woody's now syncing up with him as well, Clement, and we're getting close towards this Herald where, for DCG having all this control, means these neutrals look free, and even the camps, like red buffs available, and Arashi might get a nice surprise.
Yeah, there's no way they lose a skirmish in this situation. I feel like if Nesty just comes down here and you have Ashing who's not level 6 yet, it should be easy tanking. Quite easy for the taking on DCG's side. You have to be careful about over the wall though.
Yeah, I shouldn't use this decimating smash, but as red buff resets, wasting a bit of time. Chris Carter now moves in as well, and Arashi now just has to hope for the steal as Hana sets it up again. Mid's not going to be joining anytime soon, and Arashi's like, alright, forget that. Caspiel even leaves a Shin in the lane as red buff will go over, and Woody's just like, dude, I don't need to be in lane either, forget this. It's permanent roaming. It's double jungle for both teams.
And I really feel like DCG are adding insult to injury here by going double cull in their AD and top lane position.
Oh yeah.
They know if this laning phase isn't explosive enough for Sem9, the game's just practically over.
Well, we're going to see a play come through as Nesty and Woody now sync up. Dudu just has to back away. It's because Herald's up. They try to get pushed, but does it matter? Of course not. Meanwhile, top side, No Name is struggling here as this Zeri. And Leaky, who's about to go into Mega Gnar, gets him so damn low that Herald is now spawned. And there's nothing they can do. Shin's moving up for ulti, Clement, but if they full on 5v5 this, I think it has to be perfect.
Yeah, I think they need a pick to actually start this one out. Or they need DCG to start the Herald first and then come swooping in with the crowd control here. But yeah, this is the problem I said with that how DCG can respond here. DCG can just ignore Sem9.
Oh. Oh, that was so anticlimactic, just like, oh, well, down goes No Name. Herald in the meantime, but first blood goes over to Chris Carter.
This is really smart from DCG. The snipe was beautiful, and the fact that DCG just play away from Sem9's win condition. They say, we know you need a big lead right now, or you're just out of the game. So we're not even gonna contest you. We're just gonna hit this bot lane tower and equalize on gold.
Dude, Clement, it's 3k gold. one kill. Like, turret plating means so much, and the CS leads are growing. A Shin who moves up, using everything to get priority. And I'm going to come back to what you said. As you mentioned, as Chris Carter's just hitting plates and like, where is he? Okay, fire away.
Beautiful. It goes through towers too, so I think this is actually inexcusable by No Name. He just wasn't paying attention. Definitely staring at the shop there.
For sure. So, I mean, 7-9, impressive draft, but there is a reason we don't see 80 carries in solo lanes at the moment. There is a reason, Clement, we don't see a team that is so volatile with the first portion of its game. I mean, how are you going to use this Herald? That's my question to you. How are you going to use it when all 3 lanes are losing this hard?
I don't know. I feel like they have to abandon bot lane. Bot lane is down to 1 plate. It's not going to be there for long. I believe Jinx has already gone back for her item purchase here. So even with them in lane, they're not going to be able to stop Cascada. So I think the correct play here for them is actually just to roam the bottom side, go somewhere else, and you got to bet on it right now, because if you don't, you're not even going to drop the Herald.
Yeah, and the game's just going to be done before you even get into this mid-game, right? Before you get to the point where maybe you can take some of these fights. As you were saying, items getting picked up. Cascada and Nesty here with their first mythics. I'm looking across the board, but we are a fair way off. Right now, Dudu is the one closest with the Noon Quiver as the Shin starts moving up. But it's second Dragon that's now alive. DCG have so much more gold. And this Sion, still with only a Bami Cinder and Tabi, means that he's not going to be the perfect front line to set up for this contest.
Yeah, I do think that 7-9 can probably pull DCG into an engage if everyone comes into the bottom side, but they're going to have to give up top side too. I think one of the things about this setup so far is that No Name's actually losing quite hard at league. He's already 30 CS down into the top, and that's not considering the fact that there's a call and also plates going over to the Nod. So that's pretty much a done lane at this point, and they don't even get the objective fight on the bottom either, so...
Okay. At least Herald, give No Name some gold with the way things are going. But as you mentioned, I mean, DCG are on the bottom side of the map. Machine very confident when your jungler's top making the play. Woody with the dredge line, well dodged by Shin. But hey, this turret, as you said, a firm breeze away from dying. And Shin is going to commit to the defense. Props to this Sion for having the energy. Is he going to die, though?
He should be fine. He should be out of harm's way. Caspiel still has a heal there too, so don't expect him to go down. But this is completely expected of what the lane allocation was going to be like. I'm so surprised that the Vayne didn't try to go somewhere else.
Okay, used to, I guess, clear the minion wave, but it was never going to do that. The Shin, he's dead to the Ignite. No, but he's dead to Chris Carter. Unleashed and recharge. Hana's going to help out as well. Now it's just onto the turret. And as DCG even make it look a little bit messy. 2-0 start, lightning crash down, but No Name might die to the Nard depending on how Arashi goes. With the Cyclone setup here, it must be perfect as Leaky still has the flash. It's still a big Nard, but a double knock up, No Name coming in, and they get him in the end. That's great, but 7-9, you've lost bottom lane turret, and gold is still about 4,000. Oh no, are we going to get it again? Are we going to get it again?
Come on, let's go.
Same spot. He's walking away. It hits Arashi, and No Name is not going to be the target this time.
So at least they get something on the board, but it's still not enough for No Name to get ahead here. And we do have to talk about the builds at this point. It is going to still be the standard 80 carry build here. Immortal Shield Bolt on the top, happening for No Name. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, that was very unfortunate for Ashing. He actually flashed out, got his and turned back to get his level 8. And yeah, that's when tragedy struck. Cascada just flashes forward, kills him, takes his tower, and now you have a very accelerated Jinx just moving across the map with plenty of towers to take up. It might be able to get another plate in the next 20 seconds here.
True, and just finished Cull as well, by the way. So look at the replay. I mean, the Yuumi ult comes out to try and do the damage, but Yuumi's ult doesn't really do that much damage.
That was a cool move. He definitely should have just walked away from that situation. Yeah, went back to pick up.
Cascada might die. Hang on a minute. Well, the heal gets him out, and Woody helps out. So props to Sem9 as we come back. Ashin without the flashes. I don't think they talked about that one. Yet again, another final chapter.
Yeah, that's a huge engage tool as well. So if they know those ultimates are down, DCG can just kind of happily go into lane pushing mode. They have a lane they can shove bot. They have a lane that will be shoving up top as well. So there's no real threat to them at this point.
Yeah. Ashin, at least he's got that, that mentality, Clement. Like, walking through enemy jungle, even though Sem9 are 5,000 gold behind, he's just like, dude, I'm still San. I'm a massive refrigerator. 4 members up in this top side too. So second Herald will go to Sem9 here. You got to say one thing, at least they're getting these objectives, but DCG still want to contest as Nesty's ready to go in. Still without a hijack. Nesty, whose ulti are you going to steal? It's been pretty quiet so far as Sem9 still looking for the smite as they bring in their 5th member. Woody goes to the engage and stolen by Hana from bad words to share due to instead the Vayne doing nothing as No Name's up next. Here the Death Rocket. Chris Carter is bullying this top lane Zeri as the Shin goes down next. And this Jinx is having the time of her life, Clement, and this draft is not working at all.
Yeah, this is a draft with very little front line. They only have a tank if Sion goes in first. Instead, Leaky with a great job, able to find multiple members just at the beginning there. They take down...
Triple turret.
Oh boy, this is so painful to watch.
Clement, you got to give it to Sem9 to pull this out, to try something new. They've got the spirit, but oh god, the turret got the charge. Oh. It's painful to watch at this point as we watch again because you said little front line.
Yep, and Ashing actually uses the stopwatch and Sion finds No Name. The anti-synergy is there, and then Ashing tries to run on top of the Herald only to find that Hana was the one that smited it. Oh boy, this is just one of those scrim games you kind of forget. And you just go back to the drawing board and
you just FF, Clement. You FF. You're like, this is done, guys.
Yeah, and this is why people play the EU style. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 50 CS lead top, 40 mid, 30 bot. Jungle's got a lead. There's triple dragon. There's a 10k gold lead at 16 minutes. Like, I guess we'll have to try and see if Sem9 can stall the game out for 25 minutes more. But even then, will Chris Carter be full build? You better believe it. We'll share Dudu and No Name nowhere near, I feel like. That's probably their 3rd item at that point with the way the game's going.
Yeah, this game really reminds me, takes me back to simpler days, Season 2, Season 1. It's the Taric, Heart of Gold roam happening from the bottom side. That was for you OG listeners out there. That was how we used to play the game. It was the NA style. And then we went to IEM and we got clapped by Europe. And then no one ever played it anymore. And at the end of the day, Riot just threw their hands up and said, you know what? This is how the game should be played. They're trying to change that with Nyla, but unfortunately she's not available on this patch.
No, she's not. Thankfully, Clement, she's not available on LPL either, but we're getting close to 12-14, and I'm looking forward to seeing a Nyla who, in the 2v2, no matter what you do, will always hit 2 first. That champion's something else.
So someone did a calculation on how many minions you need fewer to hit level 6 as a duo in the bot lane, and it's 21 minions. You get level 6, 21 minions before the opponent. I just feel like that's
3 and a bit waves. What?
Yeah, that's a huge reason why she's kind of semi-broken at this point. It's just like she has too big of a level 6 window.
Do you know? I think someone did the calculation for level 2 as well. You hit it. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 range minions quicker. Might be 1 melee minion, but it's still like. It's super significant. Yeah. Where level 2 has been the way bot lane's played for what now? A year? Maybe 2 years? Like
for a
hitting
long
level 2 and looking for trade. Yeah. So long. So the significance of it is massive, and especially when in pro play, EXP as a mechanic is good. I don't know. I feel like we're talking about how busted it could be because this game looks over. Engage from Woody. traps are down, and even though it's fake Wukong, if they engage on the Chris Carter, Cyclone's good. This is the all-in that will kill the Jinx, but as everyone else comes in, the Lightning Crush here from No Name, maybe to M9. They've found the pieces, but Leaky's still not dead, and Nesty coming in. The problem is, with the stolen Yuumi ulti, Nesty's set on up. A double kill, a stolen triple. This could have been the Penta. And you know who we have to blame? It's going to be Leaky. That's a quadra kill, and Leaky is an absolute scumbag for stealing the full-on Penta.
I like how Chris-Kata didn't even try to flash that. He's like, yeah, I think my teammates can clean this one up. So,
whatever.
Boy. 13,000 gold lead before 20 minutes. Inhibitor going down. And
it's a record.
Yeah, that has to be some sort of record, for sure. I think this is just a good reminder on like why these risky compositions aren't really played. It's because the enemy can choose not to engage with you early game. They can just swap sides on the map and get the top lane tower. So we'll watch Sem9. This is actually a terrific attempt coming in from them. They get Frescata, the most fed target, huge bounty going down first, but then they just sort of run out of steam here. They're not able to finish off onto the backline, and their main chase down member, No Name, actually died pretty early on. So great target selection there, coming by Nesty, picking off the AD carries first. The rest of them are just easy tanks.
When they get on, you know, if Sion's dead or if they just change targets, Shadudu and No Name die immediately. Like, it's not even close. The damage insane from Nesty, as you see in that last fight. Solo Lane is doing wonders as Chris Carter, even though as the most fed member, he dies, but yeah, he didn't even burn Flash. He's like, whatever. 3-item Jinx now, by the way, and you look in comparison at these other ADs in the very risk-heavy game played out by Sem9. They're barely onto 2. Clement Baron's now available, 21 minutes in. I will say that the quickest game in PCS split is 21:42, which is PSG Talon beating Sem9, but DCG will not be able to contest it this time around. However, let's see what happens in the next 13 seconds. This is Shin. He's in the choke. He's already dead. Now, everyone else is very squishy, so they back away, and just like that, free Baron or run it down mid, your choice.
When I thought about Sem9 creativity, I wanted them to, you know, come win with a different vehicle, probably like an electrical car. Instead, they tried to reinvent the wheel. They just came in and they were trying to drive on blocks. None of it worked out. And yeah, let's see how DCG finish it. You know, I feel like DCG are in the mood for some chase down fun.
They are. So is Sem9 apparently. TP coming through that condemn, not very good. Now they can't do anything, and Leaky getting denied a free ulti, but look who's running in. Leaky finds it in the end. The AoE insane. Perfectly done. Sem9 getting absolutely clapped. What more can you say than that? Nesty is laughing at a Shin. As the TP comes into base, Deep Cross Gaming will find their 10th win. And Sem9 tried something, but it was an absolute clapping in 23 minutes.
Yeah, I think they went a little bit too creative with the double AD, double support composition. Didn't really work out here. So I'm not sure it would have worked either. Like, I just feel like it's too easy to play around unless you are with a very headstrong opponent that will 100% fight you on Herald. I just don't see how, you know, a purely defensive bottom lane that allows the enemy support to roam wherever they want to be, that allows double calls to be built up, that doesn't even have a winning solo lane given these matchups. It was just such a weird attempt. I think creativity is good, but you have to, I think you have to build on fundamentals of the game. And I didn't really see a way that this composition was going to work from the get-go.
And you know, especially in a meta like this, right? Like, durability might have gone up, but it hasn't gone up that much, where the significance of staying alive is going to work out for you to get in that scaling game. Clement, I was also going to say, look at our jungle pool at the moment. Look at our solo lane pool at the moment. You give open Silas, you give over the Gnar. Okay, CC chain with Xin Zhao. How do you survive a gank ever? How do you survive the 1v1 lane? There was a lot of work that was just put on Sem9's jungler, but with 3 losing lanes. I don't know, dude. That was just so hard to comprehend how Sem9 thought that they would find at least one lane to sit on with their laurels.
Yeah, I wonder what the actual plan was. I'm actually a little bit doubtful that they came into this today thinking that they were going to go with this draft. I feel like there were some like mid-draft sort of turns here and there. They could have gone with a very comfortable draft, like just, off the front, you don't pick the Scion. You go for a standard solo lanes, and you could still have a perfectly working composition, but they didn't go for that. They went for something super high risk, and I think it's a good educational game for us and our viewers to kind of see why this type of style doesn't really work. I mean, we have seen some double brawler stuff in the past, but when you run two bruisers, it's typically a kill lane. It's not this sort of no-kill threat lane you have with the Yuumi Scion. People have ran things like Pantheon, and Pantheon Jarvan was quite a popular lane in the LPL back a couple of years ago. So
yeah,
I think that's somewhat viable as a lane. You have a lot of kill threat on 80 carries, level 2, level 3. You can play through that style. I'm really not sure about double support bot. Double support bot feels like an S1 roam meta that just, is on the wayside.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think we know that a DCG wouldn't have really sweat over that one. Like, that was just so easy. And what more can you say, Clement? What more do you need to say when Sem9 at the bottom, trying something a little bit cheeky? And it's sad because I feel like this team still has a chance. We're in the penultimate week, and DCG get a free win here, and Nesty gets MVP. But let's be real, Clement, maybe the true MVP was Sem9.
Oh, for sure. Sem9 had an interesting game. They do not prove that the theory is correct, that the circle of life has its value, but still props to DCG. They're going on 10 wins. This has, again, we have to remember, alongside with Sem9, this is also DCG's first year as an organization, and for them to stand up here, second place already, I think they've actually overcome a lot of their perceived traditional weaknesses. The Nesty Hana experiment we have seen before, and it's always sort of petered out at the end because of the champion pool issues. This has not been the same storyline whatsoever.
No.
DCG, they're going places.
I mean, they really are. 10-3 now. DCG sit up, tied with CDBC Flying Oyster. As you said, this team has improved so much, and their next couple of games are going to be big. CFO comes up at the end of this week too, so I'm really looking forward to that one. But Clement, considering we only have a 4-game day, we got to go to a break because our final game of the night is PSG versus Beyond, which should be a capital B for banger to finish off our night.